So welcome back to another Reptile Drones video. It's been a while, so I figured, you know what? Let's do an update video. Let's show you what I still have and what's been going on here in my collection as of late since I've moved down here to Florida. And it's been a few months. So let's dive in and take a look at the reptiles that I'm currently keeping.
You are here because the outside world rejects you.
Let's do it.
So why don't we start with this one here that is over my shoulder in frame, and that would be my green tree python. Of course, this setup is looking like milk toast. It is bad. I haven't been keeping up with the plants, and they actually have grown too big, and they really need to be replaced, and I kind of just fell off on taking care of them. So some of them are dying, some of them are still green, but it's a mess. But I'll get you some close-up shots of like what it looked like before, and kind of show you what the snake looks like. She's getting bigger, obviously. I really would like to do an upgraded tank for her here real soon, so keep an eye out for that video. And just green tree pythons, yeah, she just really is an animal that I really enjoy. I would like to get into doing a little bit more with these guys. So we'll see what that future holds for that project. So obviously stay tuned, because I always take you guys on my journeys. Really hasn't been a whole lot going on except for just feeding and cleaning. Just because busy with work and getting things settled in. So yeah, that is going to be the green tree python. Still one of the jewels in the collection, one of my favorite animals. Definitely something that I'm really enjoying keeping and learning more about. And I hope you guys are as well, because I do want to do more with these, and you'll see more of them on the channel as I get them and as that journey unfolds. So, okay, so the next snake I'm going to talk about, of course, is this snow corn, this very high pink, very lovely snow corn. We're getting some very nice yellows there. That is kind of typical for this yellow to just appear like that on the sides. It kind of gets there. It's one of the last colors to come in, so it develops there mostly on the sides where we typically see it. Again, she's getting to be some pretty good size. We're now eating small mice. As you can see, she is quite handleable. And I do refer to it as a she. It was sold to me as female. I never really checked. I'm not 100% certain if I will breed these guys or not. So it's really not too important right now as far as what sex she is. Let's see if we can't get this to focus on her. She's getting a little spunky now. If you don't know corn snakes are one of two that are often suggested as beginner pets. And maybe I'm a bit biased, but I do think that corn snakes are better than ball pythons. Only because these guys typically, you don't have a problem with them eating. Ball pythons can be rather finicky when it comes to feeding time. So corn snakes typically aren't. Now, the drawback to these guys is if you get them too young, they are super small. And that's really not great for a beginner, because they can actually be too little, whereas the ball python kind of fits that bill a little better, because the babies, even young babies, aren't really that small and can eat small mice almost right away. So, it's a pros and cons thing. If you're fine or going to be trying to be comfortable with potential problem feeder, ball python might be your thing. And if you also want a shorter, fatter snake, ball pythons are that. Obviously, corn snakes, they're more slender, and you're going to get a little bit more length out of them, potentially, on the adult end of things. But maybe not. But again, I typically like corn snakes a little bit better than ball pythons. I've kept them both, and that's just speaking from my own experience on having them. So, and then you can see now she's calmed down. We can see more of those yellows on her side. It's a little bit too washed out to really appreciate the pinks, the pink tones. I mean, you guys can see them, but it's not quite like the yellow is right. The yellow, the vividness of the yellow is what I'm seeing, is what I'm seeing on screen. But the pink tones have seemed to be muted a bit. But yeah, beautiful snake. Corn snake. Corn. We'll go ahead and put her back, and let's move on to the next one. Okay, so the next snake I have is, of course, another corn snake. And this one is very similar to the last one that I just showed you. But this one is called a blizzard corn snake. And this one is pretty much solid white. We get a little bit of pink tones. I don't know if camera probably isn't really going to capture it. And I don't think that's really skin pigmentation, as it is maybe a little bit of maybe blood. Maybe we're seeing some of that. I think maybe that's where some of this pink is coming from. But I'm certain there's probably some pigment there. The difference between this one and the snow is honestly one gene. In the snow, it is an albino bred to an anthraceric A, or black albino generically called. And that makes snows. And what makes blizzards is an albino bred to anthraceric type B, or what we call a charcoal. So, and that's why we distinguish the two, even though the two look somewhat similar. They're both gray snakes. This is why we do distinguish between the two, is because when we mix it with another gene, it makes a different looking animal. Whereas the other one will often hold more yellows and pinks and those colors. And oftentimes the blizzards often are the one that comes out almost, pure white. You might get a little bit of a faint ghost-like pattern in the back of these guys, but mostly they're just completely whited out. Hence the name, blizzard. We get that nice pink eye, not to be confused with the red ruby eye that we get in the albinos. This one is more on the pink side, whereas albinos, oops, sorry, didn't mean to spook you. The albinos are more of that ruby red color. So yeah, this one is now this one was originally sold to me as a snow, but just my experience at keeping, I've actually bred and hatched out snows, and I've never hatched out blizzards, but I've had them before, known lineage of blizzards as babies, so I recognized right away that it was not a snow. And not to fault the person selling it. Sometimes things get mixed up. And he wasn't the original breeder. It was a friend of his. He was just helping out. So again, she's this one's also sold to me as a female. Same thing. I haven't checked. It's not too important right now to know, because one, it's still too young to breed. But secondly, I'm not sure that I'm going to breed them. But yeah, beautiful animals. I don't know, something about an all-white snake that just is pretty stunning to me. So she keeps crawling away from the light. I don't think she likes the light. You can see the ring light reflection here. But so I think she's just kind of shying away from that. But I don't know, video's doing a pretty good justice. I mean, she's pretty much white. Like I said, I can kind of see some pink hues to her, but not necessarily sure if that's pigmentation. If we could get her head. I know there's pink on her head. If we could, but it might blur itself out. We might be getting too close. Yeah, she doesn't want to be restrained. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and put her back and move on to the next animal. Okay, so my third one is also another corn snake, and this is my wild child. This is the one that doesn't like to be handled nearly as much as the others. So we're gonna get a lot of over dramatic behavior out of this one. The only real behavior I don't like is that tail flipping, because that tail flipping there, because sometimes they will actually defecate or musk at the same time they're flipping, and you get the idea. But so this is an anery corn snake. This is what would make, this is the gray snake that would make the snows. This one is what we call a coral ghost or coral anery. I'm not sure why we say anery, because coral is a hypogene. So coral ghost, coral anery, whichever you're comfortable with. And again, in this one, there's pink tones. So this animal, ideally, without that, would have would just be gray. We'd have two calm. It's okay, just calm back down. Calm back down. Okay, so this is, if you get corn snakes, this is a behavior that's potential. It doesn't happen too often. Usually you can tell right away if they're going to be a spunky one, because usually even as little babies they're that way. I just don't hold this enough to really calm her down. Again, sold to me as female, not sure. But anyways, all right, calm back down. You're fine. You're fine. But even this is still mild behavior. This one, it won't bite, so you don't have to worry about that. It's just she's on the go. She just wants to go because she doesn't want to be held. She's fearful of it. But anyways, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so this one has the pink tones in the body. So that's another gene at play. Just like there's a gene in that pink snow. But it's coral. This one is particular coral. I don't know if I have confirmed exactly what that snow one was. But okay, I thought it was musky, and I had to make certain. That was an interesting tail flick off camera, and I was gonna try to hide up my sleeve. That's not good. We don't want that. It's okay. Calm down. Usually if you just, what I call running them through your fingers, you just keep moving your, from hand to hand as you're seeing what I'm doing. Okay, so now this could be a potential, okay, so she's either calming down and she's realizing that I'm not going to hurt her, or she's evaluating about biting. But we can see that, she's backing up, but she's really not more a defensive, I'm gonna bite you attack would really be like a strong S with a long drawn out tongue flick. That's usually an indicator of if they're going to bite. But nah, she's not going to. She's not going to, are you? You're just a little concerned, a little worried. Let's see if we can't get. Yeah, I mean we can see the pinks in there again. It's being washed out a bit too. It even washed out there as I rotated her. So the reason I like this animal is because it's the gray and the pink, which is an interesting combination. How many people do you know have a gray and pink snake? So yeah, see now she's calming down. Now she's realizing that I'm not gonna hurt her, that it's okay. That doesn't mean she won't freak out and do another little spaz, but she's just realizing that. And then you just keep doing this. Just keep rotating the hands like you're a tree branch. And then she's a little bit wiser to that. The other ones will just crawl through your fingers more. She just really wants to get away. So she's willing to try to even drop to the ground. So, beautiful snake. Again, one of my favorites. It's hard to say which one is it depends on which day of the week it is, as far as sometimes I really, especially after a shed, this one really looks pretty good. And then sometimes I get that white one out, the blizzard, and that one looks really good. And then sometimes the other snow, especially after a shed on her as well, that pink color is then even more vibrant. So yeah, these guys are fun. I like corn snakes. I know they're pretty basic for the reptile hobby. You get no cool factor points, if you will, for owning corn snakes. Like maybe if you had big boas and pythons and something gnarly that's gonna potential hurt you. I don't know. Corn snakes are I think are they're both underrated and underappreciated in my opinion. A lot of people get into reptiles through corn snakes. I have corn snake was my first real snake into the hobby, especially as far as breeding goes. And now that I'm down here in Florida, that's where these guys are found along the southern east coast of the United States. So I'm really looking forward to getting out there and trying to find these guys. That'd be a bucket list event to find a wild corn snake. So, and I know they're around. I'm in some Facebook groups, and I've seen people post some that they've come across. So I haven't seen any yet. I've definitely encountered many racers. There's definitely a lot of racers I've encountered, but they probably just adapt better to human cohabitation. Although I think these guys would, but maybe their bright colors. People think they're poisonous because of the bright color, and so they probably get whacked a little faster than what black racers do. I don't know. So yeah, definitely. And see, now she's, look at this. Now she's calm. Once you kind of, I don't necessarily want to say like you win them over, but then they just understand that, hey, he's not going to hurt me. He's not trying to kill or eat me. And now we're calm to where I'm holding it in one hand, so we'll just rotate her around so you guys can see her without getting it washed out. Let's see. Let's tap on the head and let's see if we can't get, yeah, pretty cool. Super calm. Yeah, see, even the tongue flicking has calmed down. Just gotta work with them. And some take a little bit more than others. Like the other two, like they all get handled pretty much the same amount. And you can see all three have different levels of tolerance of me handling them. So, even a spunky one you can get calmed down. It's just about the repetition, positive encounters. So that way the animal knows that you're not going to harm it. A lot of times, my interaction with these guys, at least as of lately, is just basically feeding and cleaning. So they get a little upset or a little disturbed or deterred. I don't know the word. Annoyed with me that I'm pulling them out instead of giving them food. So that's we all get a little hangry. When we're hungry, we get a little hate anger going on. Little hate hunger going on. So yeah, that is the third corn snake I have. So that's what I have currently. Is I have the green tree python, which is in the tank behind me, and then there's a baby rack just behind me directly that has these three in it. My plan is to eventually put these guys in a setup similar to this size, which I believe is, I think this is 36. This is either 36 or 24. But anyways, I want to do a setup, again, because I'm always going to keep trying to live plants and just figure out the right combination of plants that I can keep alive easily, and build a nice little like semi bioactive setup. Although I would maybe one of them just go complete full bio. I would like to try that. I haven't. It's kind of been a dream of mine. So and these guys are big enough now to where if I put them in, like, I probably wouldn't put this one in a full bio, only because obviously it needs a little bit more attention as far as handling to calm her down. And in a full bio, I'm not really going to get the hands-on as I want it to be, because I'm going to set up, like, if it's an emergency or that I really need to check them, I'll do the necessary thing to get them out of the setup. But the ideal is to kind of let them live in there as they would, and not necessarily be so intrusive to just flipping a hide and yanking them out, kind of like what I do now. So they might only come out really when it's time to eat, much like they would in the wild. They're gonna find their little comfort zones that they want to be in, and then just come out either for food or water. They're still too young for mating, so that won't be a trigger yet. But yeah, that's kind of the behavior I want to observe in my captive born snakes here. So, you know, that'll be a video coming up when I get to that point. But these guys are now to that size where I'd be comfortable putting them in such a setup. The baby racks, I'm not a huge fan of racks. I'm not opposed to racks. So I know some people think that I am opposed. I am not. I think they have their place, and I think they work great for babies, for the simplistic setup to focus more on making sure that the animal is healthy and eating. I think racks are perfect for that. A full setup like this with plants and multiple hiding zones and nooks and crannies. If it's not a well-established animal, I think that could, you know, you could get yourself into trouble with that because you can't constantly see the animal to know where it's at as far as making sure it's healthy and eating like you can in a rack system. So pros and cons, I think there's different times of their life that, you know, one is better than the other, but that's my opinion. Also, I'm not really focused on breeding. Racks are kind of good for breeding. And I'm going to go off on a tangent, but I think sometimes people call themselves breeders just to justify themselves using racks, when in actuality they probably shouldn't. But that's my opinion. That's not the Bible to absoluteness of how it should be. And we can talk about that in a different video. This is about the animals I'm currently keeping. And again, look how calm this animal is. It's not just, you know, I'm talking, I'm breathing on it, I'm still moving it around. And here she is, after being such a spaz when I first picked her up, to now she's just calm. And it isn't like she's gonna try to bite or anything, you know. See, I got my hand here. It isn't like she's just waiting to bite me, you know. She's not gonna do that. She got a little tongue flick going on, but that's to, you know, sense their environment. So I think that's going to be it for this video. Again, I appreciate you guys watching this. And if you're a longtime subscriber, I apologize for the gap in videos. Trust me, it's not because it's all about time management right now. And I'm doing a lot of extra at work. Well, because I don't get paid as much as the last job. So, you know, and then plus Florida is getting to be expensive to live in. But, you know, that's another topic that has nothing to do with the channel other than I've been working, and but things are starting to calm back down again, and I hope to really pick up the channel and go with it some more. Although, you know, like reptile keeping, it's going to be reptile themed all the time ish anyways, but I probably won't have a large collection like you've seen in the past, where I've had, you know, 15 different snake species, if you will, you know, between all the different stuff. I kind of want to, you know, I've had a little bit of everything, so I kind of have an idea of what I like, and so that's why I kind of want to just focus in on, and not necessarily, I guess, like kind of like specialized or you know, just really hone in on just a couple of things and just really do it really well, you know, as opposed to having 15 and rack systems and just doing it good enough that the animals are healthy and happy, if that makes any sense. But anyways, I'm rambling, and I got no more to show you. So again, thank you for staying watching. I appreciate you. If you're new and you like what you've seen so far, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Leave me a comment. Tell me especially if you're new, tell me your favorite reptiles. Tell me if it's a reptile you keep. If you're a longtime subscriber, say hello. Let me know you're still around, please, if you would. Because I appreciate y'all, especially those who have stuck around in my absence. And till the next video, later.